Are we connected? We are. Perfect. Alrighty. What's up? What's up? What's up? How you doing? Good to see you. If y'all give me just a few minutes, my first guest will be with me shortly. Good to see you, brother. I'm doing well, hoping all is well with you. And he's here. Yes, indeed. Let's see here. Let's see. We're going to go ahead and... Good to see you. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you.
What's up?
Good to see you, brother.
How you doing?
Man, good to see you. First off, introduce yourself. I'm gonna let everybody.
Let me get my headphones.
Oh, he got to get the hat, y'all. We gotta make sure we in order.
Yeah, I thought so.
How you been, brother?
My elbow. I've been good. Been busy, definitely. With this,
For sure.
with this statue.
For sure. So, introduce yourself to the world, to the global world, for some that don't know you, for some that do. If you don't mind introducing yourself, tell us what school you go to.
All right, I got you.
Bit.
My name is Tevel Adams. I go to the illustrious Livingstone College, a Christian-based private HBCU in Salisbury, North Carolina. I'm a political science scholar, and I'm the 2020 through 2021 sophomore class president. I'm on a football team. What else? During the summer, I established myself as a self-proclaimed activist. I'm trying to relocate a Confederate statue from the Putnam County Courthouse to a more appropriate setting because we feel as if the statue doesn't represent justice for all, that with that it being at a courthouse. So, yeah.
Man, we're going to jump right into it because I'm excited for this conversation. And you ended with exactly what I was going to ask you about the first question. I know having class with you, me and you have discussed being those type of activists and being on those platforms. When you got home and the George Floyd incident happened, I know we were all back home by then, and when the George Floyd incident happened and you were sitting there, what took it upon you and the young lady that you were working with to take it upon yourself as young adults to say, you know what, we need to stand up for the change and be the change that Florida needs to see, even though the governor, let's just be real, y'all governor. So tell me those challenges. Tell me about how that came about and the challenges and all of that.
All right, so the night before Darnisha posted a flyer, I was thinking to myself about having a protest in my city, Palaca, Florida. And so when she posted it, she actually beat me to it. But then I was like, okay, well, we got the same idea. We trying to get the same objective and trying to get the same goal. So I reached out to her. We grew up in the same church. So I just reached out to her and said, so you want to collab and we do this together? Then we thought about some things some issues in our city and that we could bring about while bringing the social awareness injustices, like George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and all that. So that's how that happened.
And And again, it wasn't just the George Floyd incident. I think me and you have talked about other historical, black historical moments in history,
Right.
and especially in class. We took
Right.
political science together, and it got the black conversation and black history
Yeah.
and politics got discussed a lot. So tell me, because of course, as a young black man, in this society, you get judged for everything you do. Tell me, what was it like, the backlash that you got from some folks in the community, and for the people that look like us and was like, hey, look, bruh, hey, you shouldn't be doing this. Tell me how y'all overcome those circumstances and how that, even in the pandemic.
First, I'm gonna say what the counter side says. They claim for me to be a part of Antifa and the Black Lives Matter organization, and I'm not part of any organization. I'm independent. This is just me using my platform. They Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
They say all lives matter, but of course, all lives do matter. But right now, we're just bringing light to Black lives, and they really playing checkers and not chess. So every move that we make, they make to counter it. So we hosted, or we was planning and organizing a protest, the second protest at the courthouse. Then the next day, they put out a flyer to counter protest, our protest. So after that, we started working underground and pushing our information through like private groups and word of mouth, emails, text messages, etc., phone calls. And so we could get the word out that way instead of posting it publicly so that everybody could see it and start planning a counter protest again. Really, they just trolls to put it in a simple sense. But sometimes I like to mess with them on Facebook just to get a laugh in, because they're adamant in the way they think. They don't want to change, and they
Yes.
don't want to see anybody change their conservative views. So yeah.
So let's talk about, because I'm glad we about to touch on the political points too. Because let me just say, me and him did not agree on everything in class. There was times he was looking at me like, "Hey, bro, you can't." Cause I'm gonna say it publicly, and he knows this. Cause I said I'm a hard independent. I don't make no bubbles. I don't make no shakes about it. I don't. And just we had disagreements. We're gonna get into that, y'all. I promise y'all, it's gonna get a little heated tonight. Both of the speakers that I got, it could get real heated and interesting tonight. I promise y'all. So let's talk about, not just trolls, but the reporter that called you out.
That's county commissioner. County commissioner. Okay. He just got voted out. The primaries was yesterday, so he lost in the primary, so he out.
That's what happens when you call folks out. That's what happens. Tell me how that experience was, because as you know, getting an apology is one step forward, I think.
He ain't even apologized.
See, okay, thank you. That's I wanted you to clear the air, because I just wanted to make sure, was it an apology or was it?
All right, so Commissioner Buddy Goddard, Putnam County Commissioner, basically called out me and my colleague Darnisha Leonard. He said that we're being manipulated, being told what to do. He said, especially the boy, he referred to me as a boy. And then he said that
terminology.
Then he went on to say that I have no knowledge of the political stage whatsoever. What else did he say? That's basically it. So he said, he called me a boy. He said I have no political stage whatsoever. He said we're being manipulated and told what to do. So then in my speech at my protest, you know, I had to call him out. And I said that I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I said that I'm going to believe the reason why he called me a boy was because of my gender and not because of the color of my skin or that he may be racist, because he needs to realize that calling a black man a boy is derogatory, because racist white people in America and slave masters called grown black men boy to keep them in an inferior state of mind. So I told him that.
Educator, sir.
I told him that he must not know that I completed more than the introductory courses to obtain my bachelor's in political science and earned a 3.9 GPA in doing so. And he think, you know, that young black kids, you know, gotta be pushed, or that somebody's just in our ear telling us what to do. And this is not the case. This is us. Like, people, you know, make suggestions all the time, and we can take it or leave it. That's our choice. But, you know, the decisions that we make is strictly us. So, yeah.
So let's get into this political thing. Damn, this is the hot topic I've been waiting for, y'all. It's about, and let me just say this publicly. Every young person I've had on here, it seems like an adult somehow say that we can't do something. Can we, I really want to cuss, but I'm not going to cuss. Can we shut up with that? Because you'd be quite surprised that some young people know the Constitution better than you. And some of y'all been studying it all of your daggone life, and you still don't know Article 5 in the Constitution. So he honestly, he one of those, he one of those, especially, and I'm going to say it because you ain't going to say it. I'm going to say it because I can get in trouble. He think you are beneath him, and it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. That's why your butt got voted out. Voted right on out. Voted right on out. So let's get into something that I think me and you have discussed in the classroom, outside the classroom. The political state of today. As we know, the candidates are out there. And for everybody that's going to watch this, please go study all your candidates. Please go study them. Let's talk about some of the issues that are going to be discussed. The first one, COVID-19. I know for you, people don't know this. You put your livelihood, no matter what people say, when you go out on the front line. I think our civil rights activists are the best. When you go out on the front lines, you put your livelihood in your
I got some threats.
Yeah, you definitely do. Yeah, you put your livelihood on the line, and you also, what you decided to do was put your health on the line, because you're an athlete as well. So you took the challenge of saying, this is not right. I want to see change. I'm not standing up for anything. I just see a problem, and it needs to be fixed. So for me, let me say thank you for that. Because it takes courage. Everybody can't do that. And then let me say, I ain't for Trump. You know that. We about to get this about to get hot. But I ain't all the way for. I'm a strong-hearted independent. But I know my black sister. She still got some stuff in my independent party.
That mass incarceration in California is a little hair-scratcher.
Yeah, and you know what I'm saying? Since this has come about with the election, and I know it's Trump versus Biden, I think I said this in class with Hillary and Trump, and he kind of called me out on it. He said, "Well, what side do you sit on?" And I said, "Bro, I ain't got a dog in this fight, because to me, the last election, I was looking at it saying, if you look at the history of the Clintons, yes, a lot of people historically say they were for the black folks.
Yeah.
Let me be clear for the record. They did hire a lot of black folks. I gotta, just to be clear. But on the other side of it, I said to myself, well, y'all was the ones that did the street strike movement. And a lot of that was for black folks.
Mm-hmm.
So now, and then I look at the historical context of it and look at the Democratic side. And people tell me, well, Democrats have changed, but I have to, as a, not just a historian, but a political science major, we have to look at the history of both parties. Let's just keep it real. Right. So when we look at Democrats, at one point in time, Democrats were for slavery. And me and you discussed this in class, and you asked, what side do you sit on then? And I'm just like, you know, I'm on that fence, and I've always been on that fence with political parties, because I always looked at it and I said, there are some Republicans, and please, if you haven't watched the Democratic National Convention, I know the NBA playoffs is going. Go watch it. Go watch it. One of the people, and I said that I was for in the Republican Party during the election was Mr. John Kasich. He was the governor of Ohio, and you know, and I told you in class, I got a lot of backlash because a lot of people say, oh, you're a Republican, you're not for your people. No, his values and what I stood on aligned. So tell me, you know, how, you know, you get through those hard debates with your classmates. Because last semester we had some hard debates. It was times that our professor had to end class early because it got heated. Tell me about those times. Just, you know, I done gave a little bit of the background. Go ahead and give your story.
We talked about the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. We talked about abortion. We talked about sexual orientation. What else? Talked about, what else we talked about?
We talked about how to vote, why your vote is important.
And the caucuses.
Yes.
We talked about that. And then, you know, she'll like throw some shade on us every once in a while, saying, we got our phones, we need to look something up and all that other stuff. But the way you handle a debate, to answer your question, you know, first you just gotta be, first you need to know what you're talking about.
Because the questions was hot.
Sometimes, and then if you don't know what you're talking about, don't say nothing. Because nobody's gonna know if you're stupid if you stay quiet. If you talk, then everybody gonna know you're stupid. But first you need to know what you're talking about. And you know, things could get a little emotional, a little heated, but I recommend that you stay cool, calm, collected. And then the most important thing is to view your perspective, view the counter perspective of your perspective. So look through the lens of the person that you're arguing against, because once you know the counter argument enough, you can see like the weakness in the counter argument. Does that make sense? And then you could flip it on them. That makes sense. So if you know both perspectives of the argument, then you can say, well, what about this? And what about that? And then they get stuck because it's like a weakness in an argument. I don't know if that makes sense. I tried to explain it.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah. And I think a lot of times, you know, we go into a debate now thinking I just need to win the debate, instead of saying, okay, there's a counter argument. Let me look through that lens. And I think that's the thing that I'm learning, and I'm actually experiences that myself, that especially with sexual orientation. That was one of the heated topics in our class, and I think for not just as people in general, but as a global society, as our wonderful President Dr. Jenkins would say, as a global society, it's one thing that we have to learn and be able to respect.
Right.
People's, no matter if they agree with you or disagree with you, no matter what, if they're LGBT, if they're for Black Lives Matter, if they're for I hate to say it, if they're for Donald Trump, we have to sometimes find that okay, we get it. Like, for example, it's this Republican I know. He's a hard, strong Black man, strong Republican. You're not changing his mind. But one of the things that he told me when we were debating was, he said he voted for Donald Trump because he knew his business wasn't going to get taxed as much. So sometimes people vote because of, and let's just be real. Sometimes we vote because of our wallet.
Yeah.
We vote because of our wallet.
Yeah.
I bet y'all, and let's just be real. Me and you both can agree on this. If Bernie would have got the ticket and Bernie would have said free tuition throughout college, you know, every college student would have been on board. They would have been, you telling me all my scholarship money is mine now?
Yeah.
And ain't gotta go to the school. I can buy a brand new
car.
Right. We have to, sometimes politics has to do with money and have to do with your honesty. And are you willing to learn? Right. And a lot of these politicians today, and me and you have discussed this, are sometimes not willing to learn. Like the politician that called you out in Florida. Once again, he lost. Why did he lose? Well, he
lost some votes off me.
Right. What he didn't realize was and I'm not trying to say that you got a base, but your base was bigger than his. Because one, you can reach more because you know your social media. Let's just be real. I love my old heads. I know the older political people are trying to get on board with the social media thing. But if y'all get some young heads politically that know what they doing, y'all can forget it. Because they're going to reach a social media platform that you may not be able to reach.
All right. So
let's delve into this voting thing. Because I know you've been fighting for that as well. Let me just say, y'all, Tevel has literally been fighting for things that we all, as Black folks, and I'm speaking to my people because I'm Black, y'all can see, we as Black folks talk about in the barbershops, on college camp. We talk about these things, and the sad part about it is you have your own people give you the most backlash about it. So tell me about the voting fight that you've been doing, because I know a little bit about that. Tell us a little, because people don't know you have, what you don't realize is you're changing a generation that is not going to ever meet a Tevel. You see what I'm saying? And that's why I think it's important for you to share this, because it could go the recognitions in Florida is good. But my mother always used to tell me, give somebody their flowers while they live. You deserve your flowers. And I know people, why are you telling a man that he deserves his flowers? Because he has been, you and this young lady in the group that you have collectively got together, have been working together. Sleepless nights, stressful days, threats. Y'all guys have been working. So tell me about the voting drive that y'all been pushing. Tell me about, how you've been promoting people to vote and more young people to vote. Because Livingstone college students, we're gonna bring it to Livingstone. Y'all think I'm bad. He gonna be worse with the vote.
Actually, during the primaries yesterday in Putnam County, Florida, it was only a 29% vote out turn. Man, I'm on a live video. It was a 29% voter turnout. which is horrible. And I don't know if it may be because of coronavirus or people registered, they mail in ballots too late. I don't know, but 29%, that ain't it. That is not it at all. So what we tried to do was at our protests, you know, we're still advocating for the relocation of the statue, and we're still bringing social injustice awareness out to the people. But we were registering people to vote. We had the Democratic Party had them set up, registering people to vote. We tried to get the 2020 census out there for people to complete. And we hosted a protest at the supervisor of the elections office. So we was trying to get people to vote. And then the people that would most likely vote against our vote, they wouldn't be there because they don't want to come out and vote in the midst of a protest. So it was all strategically planned to push the voting out. And we was out, in the government houses, handing out flyers and things like that. So trying to push that voting out. But we'll see in November how everything turns out.
If y'all can read between the lines is what he's saying. He's telling y'all the presidential election is important, but y'all need to be voting for y'all state representative. For all these folks that say it don't matter for them, go ahead and say that. You get the wrong police chief. Can y'all please just go watch some historical videos on when you get the wrong police chief, when you get the wrong mayor, the wrong city council.
Right. The local election is most important.
You want to know why stuff is leaving your neighborhood? It's not always the federal. It's them folks sitting right up in them city council meetings. You might just want to go sit in the city council meeting one day. Of course, I'm a big advocate for voting. And I'm like I've been telling folks. You tell me you didn't vote. Get the hell up out my face. I've said this publicly so many times. Yeah. The reason why I feel this way, and me and you have discussed this, is the plight that folks have taken for people to vote, and not just blacks, women, and especially for all my women, especially my black women that say that don't vote. I need you to go look at the black women that was fighting for white women to vote when the black woman knew they wasn't going to have the right to vote. You will want to go vote. We have to understand the history of voting, and it's not just a president, it's not just vice president, it's not just the House and the Senate, it's your state and local officials. And I feel like a lot of times we get lost in that. We get lost in the big media standpoint of, oh my gosh, it's the presidential election. We don't know these people. Little do you know, you can find out so much because you have the world in the palm of your hand now. And I always tell young people this, especially the young people behind me. You can look up Joe Biden history. I'm just gonna keep it real.
Lengthy.
and let me say this. It is good to forgive folks. It's good to apologize. And let me say that Joe Biden, even though some of his comments lately got me thinking once again why I'm looking at this sister like, girl, if you had some more on this independent train with you, look, hey, we can have a push. But his comments lately, I'm like, Biden, you was doing good. You showing up.
Keep it professional.
Right.
He said,
you're showing up.
You ain't black if you don't vote for me.
To the funeral, to the black funeral, singing amazing. Leave it at that. Vote. learning that. I've made some critical mistakes this week. I can say this publicly. Like I tell folks all the time, I talk about my mistakes publicly. I've made some critical mistakes that I have some learning to do. And we as people, and I think what connected me to you so much is you're willing to learn and have an open ear to listen. Because I think one of the biggest disagreements that we had in class, and I think me and you found this out about each other, was the Amendment 2, the gun rights. You know, you were like, hey, guns are good, but we need to make sure that we can get background checks. And I just straight up said, hey, look, hey, y'all ain't taking my weapon. No weapon for him to get. Now, I'm just Wade ain't on here. Wade gonna beat me up. No. We got heated in the class. And one of the things that I realized was instead of you firing back and saying, nah, bro, you need to get more, you listen. And we then had dialogue. And that dialogue went outside the classroom. And I think that's when you found out, okay, hold on, he's not a hard Democrat. He not, but he not a hard Republican either. So it was like, because let me tell you, this is what I love about Republicans. If people want to know why I'm an independent, I always and I had to lose my grandfather phrase because that was old. My grandfather told me he was on both sides because one make him money and one can help him spend money. That's outdated, granddaddy. That's not. I love you. Glad that's outdated. But I think the reason why I look at the Republican side and the Democratic side, and I see both sides of it, and you can chime in on this, is because one side of it says, the Republican side says we need to grow, but let's take out a process sometimes. So they're looking at it saying, we're going to save this money, then we're going to build. Democrats, this is what I love about them. And once again, sometimes it goes back to if they see something, sometimes they may wait to get the action done. But they get it done. And I know for people, and I know for some black people, they're going to say, I don't know why you saying Barack Obama. But we have to understand, yes, he was our first African-American president. Yes. Yeah. But he just can't speak for black folks. As a politician, especially to my African-Americans that are going into political work, you're supposed to speak up for yours. You're supposed to speak up, but we realize that we can't. So tell me your journey in the political world, as in you looking at Democrats and Republicans, because I do know I know that you have views that are Republican, but you like, hey, everything ain't. Nah, I can't rock with them all the way. And right now I feel, and this is so bad, like I can't even rock with the Republican side, like, because it's just like, y'all, Mitch, you can't say we ended slavery by picking Barack. No. And then my issue is you got people like Mitt Romney, which I think when he ran for president against Barack, what opened his eyes was he needed to listen. Because if you see a lot of his backlash as a Republican was, y'all, we need to listen to these people. He flat out said it. And a lot of people gave him grief, but he said, y'all, if we going to call ourselves a Senate, a House, we can't just look at a group of people that we like. So give me your views on the Democratic and the Republican side. Because I know it goes deep. I know for you it goes really deep, especially the history that you know.
When you in a position of authority and serving, a group of people, you don't just serve one group of people, whether that's race, ethnicity, socioeconomic status, social status, rich, poor, you serve everybody. So it don't matter. Like, your focus could be on the LGBTQ plus community, or your focus could be on Black people, or your focus could be on rich people. But you in a position to serve everyone, and that's what I think a lot of politicians don't realize, is that they in there for to, how I say it, they're in there to push their agenda on that one group. All right, and then the history of the Democrats, like you were saying, like they wanted to protect slavery, and then also the Republicans, Abraham Lincoln didn't technically free the slaves. He said that he would. He said that he
Come
would.
on, sir.
In his letters to Horace Greeley, he said that he would, if he could, save the Union without freeing a slave, then he would. So it's like you stuck between a rock and a hard place to choose, like,
yes, sir,
what political party you want. Although, you know, love leaning on the Democratic side, it just don't fit with everything. Don't fit with my morals, because once you choose a party, I feel like you gotta agree with everything they do. You know what I'm saying? Because you part of the whole organization. So if you just agree with a part they do and don't agree with everything, then that's not a good look, because you in a organization or a political party that you don't totally agree with. Why do that? And I feel like we should get rid of the two-party system, but that's not happening no time soon. We'll be dead. We'll be dead before that happens.
We done had radical conversations about the Constitution and laws, because you know how I feel about the laws. You know, they wasn't written for Black folks. I said it publicly.
George Washington said that the political parties will divide the country more than unite us.
So, and it is. It's dividing it like dividing it as quick as you can block people on your social media.
But during the Reconstruction era, you had black congressmen actually being elected as Republicans. And Frederick Douglass was a Republican. But the party switches throughout history.
Yep.
I see that the Democratic Party now is more progressive in minority rights, and the Republicans are more progressive in keeping things the way they are, because they not getting oppressed, so why should they change anything? So it's really little. You gotta, I don't know, you just gotta do your history research.
Right. And that's what I tell people about voting. Like, you have to do your research, because even though you may see a Black person on the ticket, that don't mean they for your values.
Right.
Just because you see African American, just because you see a white person, just because you see doesn't mean they for your values. And that's why it's good to do your research. Because for some folks, if we was to be real, we voting for Joe Biden because we know we just want Trump out of there. I'm glad you vote. But this is what throws me, Mr. Adams. We vote, the person get elected that we want, and then we complain about them not having the same standards and values. First off, you should have known that before you voted. Don't just go in there and say, I just don't like the other person.
Right.
If we was to be real, majority of the people, I'm not going to say all, but majority, that's going to cast a ballot, they're going to vote against Donald Trump just so they can get him out. Do that because you want to, but understand, if Biden wins, If Biden wins and he do something, say for example, he raised taxes. We just gonna throw a political thing out there. Say he raised taxes. Well, you ain't for taxes being raised.
I don't like my taxes raised.
See what I'm saying? And it's things now. And people say, well, y'all political science majors, yeah, that's y'all field, so y'all supposed to study this. This is, yeah. But wouldn't you want to educate yourself on the person that may determine what goes in your pocket and what don't?
Mm-hmm.
And
then
politics
a lot of
your pockets and
a
what's
lot
not
of
in
them
it.
don't even govern themselves. I feel like first you need to govern yourself and make sure your morals and your values and your beliefs are right before you, you know, before you say like, before you vote for somebody who don't have your morals intact with you. Mm-hmm.
Yes,
So
sir.
yeah, it all starts with the individual and then who you voting for.
And no, ain't nobody gonna know, ain't nobody business about who Tevel is voting for. That ain't nobody business. Because you know, folks we start asking crazy questions on here. Who you voting for then? That ain't nobody business. I hate when folks ask that question. Ain't mad. What goes on that ticket is gonna be me between my eyes and the Lord, and who and that pen. So let's talk about real quick your journey to Livingstone College. We're gonna transition real quick.
All right.
Y'all see, he's a political junkie, and that's a good thing. Tell me how high school football player. Tell me from high school how you got to Livingstone College.
All right. So I really feel like God created a path for me to get there. So basically, I was taking the SAT my senior year. I took it so many times, probably like 8 times, probably more than that. And each score that I would get, I was trying to get into FAMU. That's where my mom went. And each score that I would get wouldn't get me into FAMU, but it would increase my academic scholarship at Livingstone. So I was off on my math score by 0.5 points, not even a full point, 0.5. And they said, you don't meet the criteria or the requirements, so we're just going to waive you off. And I was like, I know y'all be accepting people way less than that. So I was like, okay, well, at least I got options. That's why it's always good to have options so that you can choose them, because you don't want nobody choosing you. You want to choose them. So then, so football, they thought that I committed to Methodist in Fayetteville because I told them that they was interested, and somehow they said they thought I was committed there and they didn't want to talk to me again. So then I got back in touch with them because I ain't hear from them in a little minute. So that happened. So football is just really a bonus. So that's how I got to Livingstone.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. That's why I left education, because all these SATs and ACTs. I'm glad I'm a non-traditional. I didn't have to worry about that, because to me, it's the best. It's a hypocritical test, just to see if do you got knowledge on something we ain't even gonna talk about in the classroom ever in life. I think it's the most hypocritical test outside of the NCAA being the most hypocritical brand that we got. But I just you should have got into whatever school you wanted to, especially.
I got
here's my thing.
Methodist. I got to settle the Methodist, Livingstone, BCU. Yeah, that's it. I only had like 3.
See, this is my thing. We be so quick, and this is why I love.
Tell
I cannot
Tommy to
remember.
call Mr. Tommy.
I cannot remember the young lady's name. I'm not going to try to pronounce her name and get it wrong, but she did a study on the SAT and the ACT. Mm-hmm. And if I'm not mistaken, she went to the University of Texas. University of Texas. I may be wrong. But she did a study on it. It was her graduation paper, and she was talking about how she took the SAT and nothing on that test she learned in college.
Right.
Absolutely nothing. Nothing
and that's
on
like
that
the
test.
LSAT.
Right. And nothing on that test prepared her, really made her remember anything that she learned in high school. You got to think, you've been in high school for years. You're not going to remember everything that you learned freshman year.
Right.
And she was basically saying it's the most hypocritical thing that high school seniors have to go through, high school juniors and seniors, when they're trying to get into these prestige colleges. Mm-hmm. If you got a 3.0, a 4.0, if you got that 2.8, 2.9, and every teacher can validate and say, look, they worked hard, they just, look, that C and that B was all they could get. They did their best. Let that student in the school. Mm-hmm. Because when they go to the community college and they show out, because that's what sometimes happens, they either end up going to community college and prep school, and then they transfer. It's like one of those things where you say to yourself, why SAT, why ACT? As we close this thing out, I've been asking this to most of my most of the people that's been on here. As you go into your sophomore year, a lot has changed for you. Now student leader added on to student athlete. And as you know, I don't even look at the athlete part. I always look at you as a student, as a brother. I always look at you as that first. The athlete is second to me. And yes, I'm a coach. I tell my own players that athlete is second. It's what you do out in this society. It's what you do out in the classroom.
Right. Football don't last forever.
Yes.
Sport.
That you ain't lying.
Yeah.
What would you tell the Tevel freshman? What would you go tell yourself that you didn't know now that you know going into your sophomore year to help these incoming freshmen? What is something that you tell yourself?
Stay true to yourself. Stay true to yourself. Stay true to yourself. Stay true to yourself. Don't be influenced. You need to know yourself. Know who you are as a person. Know your personality. Know your traits. Know your tendencies. How do you react to certain things in certain circumstances? Because college, like being on your own in college, will really bring that out, and it'll unfold who you are. And college is really a learning experience. Yes, you learn it in the books, but it's so much more than just books. You learning yourself, you learning other people, you meeting new people. And I see people at Livingstone about to be dying for people they met 4 months ago. I'm like, no, don't do that. Just stay true to yourself and make sure you're surrounded with like-minded people. And don't compromise on your beliefs. Never do that. Don't compromise on where you believe in. Because you compromise on that, then you compromising on you. Another thing is time management. I know time management is such a given, but it's really important on how you manage your time. Most of the class work, you don't even learn in class. You learn it outside of the class. You write papers outside of class. You study more outside of class. So managing your time wisely will help you succeed in the long run. What else? Trying to think. Anything you gotta say to a freshman?
Oh, he gonna put me on the spot. All right. You're the first person that put me on the spot for this one.
Yeah.
I would say be honest, even when you know you made the mistake. I think if you, no matter how bad the mistake is, let me say that. If you're willing to learn from it, people will help you. And like I said in this video before, I'm learning that this week. Something that I'm working on. So be honest with yourself, even when it's the mistake that you know it could change your whole platform. It could change the way people look at you. If you're willing to change and grow, people will help you. And so that's what I would tell them. And then don't be running up in the hallways. Don't be don't get your roommate or your suite mate is supposed to help you. Go to class. Please go to class.
Yeah. Ain't nothing else to do. Go to class.
Because ain't no point. Because see, Tevel, this is what kills me. This is what kills me. This is what I get pissed off about. You go through all these years of school, right?
Right.
You want to go to your master's. You want to go law school, whatever. You want to go be a doctor. What kills me is all this time where you could have been applying yourself because you were smart. You cheat your way through school thinking you're going to pass a bar exam, you're going to pass a state exam. And then you don't pass it, looking at yourself, not realizing you cheated. Cheating, and for folks that say, well, a little cheat is not that bad. Cheating is cheating.
Yeah.
And if you cheat, you wrong, and you need to admit when you wrong. And that's why it goes all back to that honesty, being honest. Go to class, enjoy, and especially in this season, if your school is throwing an event, especially if it's virtual, go, because you never know who you're gonna get out of, who you're gonna meet, who you're gonna bump into. And I guess the last thing. And I guess the last thing for me to my incoming freshmen, you ain't got to hang with everybody. You ain't got, and I think you said that before. I think you just said that. You ain't got to hang with everybody.
Yeah.
You will be in spaces where a lot of partying, a lot of drinking, a lot of smoking, a lot of nastiness is going to happen. If you are not in those spaces and don't feel comfortable, you don't have to do any of that. Be who you are. Be true to yourself.
Right.
That's what I would tell them. You know. But my brother, it was nice.
Yes, sir.
It's good to know with you. We're gonna do this a whole lot. We're gonna do this again.
Most definitely.
Continue to fight on the front lines. Stay safe. Stay safe. Most definitely stay safe, because I think Malcolm X and Dr. King said this so much through their speeches, no matter how different they were. When you decide to stand out on the front lines, you officially put a target on your back.
It becomes larger. You already got a target on your back. But it just it just gets larger.
It becomes a lot larger.
Yeah.
That they need to be praying for you, praying with you, standing with you, because this is not it's not an easy task. This don't, and a lot of people say, well, he could get famous off of this. Protesting and marching don't come with a lot of big paychecks.
Say that again.
It don't. Matter of fact, if I was to be real, your protesting and everything actually lose you opportunities. It loses you opportunity. It loses you certain things. So understand,
I think
y'all
it's a good networking opportunity, though, because people come out and, you know, people that are in that arena, most likely the political arena, they come out to the protest. Some of them do. Some of them, you know, they stay away from that because
they don't want to be.
Yeah. But I didn't notice like it would be a good networking opportunity, but it really is. So I made a lot of connections with people running for Congress, for the House of Representatives, and they just went into primaries yesterday. And it's like I got their phone numbers. Like if I need something, I could just call them. Hey, could you come to this event for me? Yep. Internships, all that.
People, protesting is a positive and a negative, but people don't understand. You got a target on your back because people gonna say, "Well, Florida ain't racist." Go talk to some folks that's from Florida. I know. I talk because I was in Panama City. I remember telling, I'm thinking, Florida. When I started talking to the black folks from Florida, they're like, nah, bro.
Maybe down by Miami, it's a little bit more diverse, but like from Tampa, Lakeland, like Central Florida, up, them rural areas,
don't mess with them.
Don't mess with them.
Don't do it. Brother, I'm not going to hold you up any longer. I thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Yes,
y'all, please follow this brother, contact this brother if you want to know about the protest.
Follow me.
Yes, please follow him. I'm going to share this, so I will share this on Instagram so y'all will be able to get his social media platform. Thank you, Mr. Tevel Adams, the sophomore class president of Livingstone College.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, my brother. You guys, we are signing off.
Thank you for having me.
We out. Y'all know who it is. It's your boy Charles. But y'all know when I'm on this mic, it's just a young man telling his story with my boy Tevel Adams, sophomore class president at Livingstone College. We are out. Thank y'all.